News and betting update. Now back to host Gabe Morency with our boy Joey Oddessa talking fights.
Game time decision continues. I am Morency throwing it down. It's football and fighting Friday. We're going to get to the Masters as well. We've got a triple header of college football coming up this evening. We talked about it. The legend of Ned takes center stage this evening, although we will be laying the points with Florida Atlantic. Speaking of Florida, let's send it to Florida right now. Joey Oddessa steps up and then follow the action. Great podcast with JBL, the coach, the Philly Godfather, and of course Joey Oddessa. Joey Oddessa steps up and what's up, Joey?
What's up, G? What's up, Cam?
Doing good, Joey. Doing good. Looking forward to a weekend of action this weekend. We got a little bit of something for everybody: college football, NFL football, Masters, golf. And, of course, the UFC. So Paul Felder steps up and in on extremely short notice, 5 days notice, Joey. 5 days notice for Felder. And not only that, he cuts weight. And earlier in the week, I talked about this. And people were like, well, how's he going to, how do you make weight on 5 days notice? I said, he's basically going to have to fast. There's nothing basically fancy about it. He's basically going to have to not eat. And I see he basically stated that he ate oatmeal for breakfast and then not again for the rest of the day again. The dude's a tough-ass hombre. We know this, Joey, but what kind of spot is Felder in here? Is he playing with house money? If he loses, no one blames him, right? He wants to retire, but he wants to retire with a win. What's your take on the fight?
Well, I mean, first off, Felder's a company man, does the announcing, came in on short notice. But see, people don't understand cutting weight. Some guys are really good weight cutters. And for every 8 hours you don't eat or drink anything, your body's probably going to drift a pound anyway. So if he started on, say, Friday and he was like 12 pounds, or Wednesday, 12 pounds over and didn't eat till Friday, just little bits. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the science of weight cutting. He's been training for a triathlon or something. Now, you want to cut weight, you put on those running shoes and you hit the pavement. You wear your sweats. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, talking about a triathlon. Cam's actually in mid-training right now for a triathlon as well. Yeah, it's funny. That's why I had to bring that up, right?
But, I mean, I think he's going to make weight. He made weight. I don't think it was that big of a problem because, if you're going to start cutting weight a week before a fight and you got to put on your running shoes and get out there and start running, after the third day, your body's going to get sore and start cramping up and things like that because you're not used to that. But Felder's been doing that. Now, granted, he hasn't been throwing, I don't think he's been sparring and throwing punches in the gym, but that might not be a bad thing. Look, Paul Felder, I've had my back and forth with Paul Felder on Twitter. Paul Felder beat Dan Hooker, okay? Anywhere but New Zealand, Paul Felder wins that fight. In Australia, it's probably a draw or maybe Felder. New Zealand, Hooker beat him, split decision, whatever. The judges didn't get it right, I don't think. He beat Barbosa, he beat Vic. So arguably he's won his last three. RDA's been on a heck of a skid. I mean, RDA lost 4 of his last 5. He beat Kevin Lee. Okay, Kevin Lee came back, beat Gillespie, looked good in it. But, I mean, Kevin Lee just lost to Chiesa, and, I get it. Chiesa's coming into his own. He's maturing and things like that. But, there's not, RDA lost to Chiesa. RDA's on the slide here. And Felder's actually a year younger. Felder's the one talking about retirement. RDA thinks the answer is going to be going down to 155 again. But that going down to 155, I think it's going to hurt Dos Anjos more than it hurts Felder. Dos Anjos is cutting away because he's getting beat at 170. I don't know. I think Felder's in this fight. I think it's a good dog price there. I'm not trying to sell everybody on the dog, but you can't bet Rafael Dos Anjos in this fight. You just can't do it. Not if you like money.
I have a problem with it as well. And, it's minus 200 right now at FanDuel. I have a problem trusting Dos Anjos. He's not getting any younger. And as you stated, there's only a year age difference, but their bodies, it's a different situation. Let's just, I'll cut to the chase, Joey, right? Dos Anjos isn't, when was Dos Anjos at his best, bro? When all the other Brazilians were at their best before they started serious drug testing.
2015.
I'm just calling out for what it is. Dos Anjos is older and he's not juiced anymore. Look, he's not the same body physical guy. His stand-up's never been great. I have a problem laying that number with Dos Anjos as well. I really do. And I like the fact, too, that there's no pressure on Paul Felder. Like, if you're,
None,
you know,
zero.
listen,
Yep.
like, you know, like he lost to Usman, he lost to Covington. So Dos Anjos, we can cut him a little bit of slack, Joey, for some of those losses. But Felder's got zero pressure. Dos Anjos does have pressure. He's lost a couple of steps. And Felder's got a gig doing the fights. He took the fight on 5 days' notice. If he loses and he gets another shot, like he's talking about retiring, but he wants to go out with a win. And he got screwed over last time. So he doesn't have a lot to lose here. You got a guy, you know, fighting with house money that, oh, yeah, by the way, and Paul Felder's damn good, too. So I think we do have a live dog, actually, in this fight. All right, what about the undercard here, Joey? You know, one of the fights, we talked about this with Lou earlier in the week. Brendan Allen was supposed to fight last week, but the fight got canceled. So now he's got a new opponent. But this Sean Strickland dude's a badass. What do you make of this matchup, Joey?
Well, I mean, he looked good coming back, going up in weight against Jack Marshman, but so did the other 9 guys that beat Marshman. You know, so it's tough to really gauge where Strickland's at. I know Brendan Allen. I thought Brendan Allen would have beat Ian Heinisch. I think Brendan Allen, you know, I think he's a damn good fighter. I think Brendan Allen will get it done here. I like Brendan Allen here against Strickland. Strickland had a 2-year layoff, got in an accident on the motorcycle, and then came back against Jack Marshman. Like I said, you know, Marshman, nine losses already going into that Strickland fight. So, you know, Strickland put him in double digits.
It was a pick'em. It was a pick'em a couple of days ago. It's starting to move a little bit now. Brendan Allen minus 116. Sean Strickland minus 102. All right, what else are you looking at here on this card? I see my old friend used to be a big time regular on MMA Meltdown, my old MMA show. Louis Smoka on the card. But what are you looking at, Joey, on the prelims here?
I'm looking at the co-main event. I like this Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He's fighting against Chaos Williams. Yeah, you know what? I mean, look, Al Hassan, if he was in there against some sort of a great grappler, I'd have some concerns. You know, he's been favored. He's been considered like he probably overpriced in a lot of his bouts, particularly against Omar Akhmedov and Lazez, the 2 losses that he had. But this Chaos Williams, Kalen Williams, look, credit to him. You know what he reminded me of when I watched him beat when he went out there and he knocked out the Morono kid. That's also on this card, Alex Morono, who I think will get a win. Anyway, when he knocked out Morono, I said to myself, what does this remind me of? And you know what it reminded me of? Houston Alexander. Back UFC 71 when he knocked out Keith Jardine. No, really, he just came out and blitzed him, and kind of Jardine was kind of on his heels. And like when Morono got smashed like that, I was thinking to myself, Jesus, this, like I've seen this before. And, you know, that's where it was. It was Houston Alexander, a guy that comes out and had, you know, nothing to lose, I guess, and blitzed Jardine and made a career out of it. Ended up, you know, he lost to Kimbo eventually, but you know, he got some momentum there, and I think that Al Hassan is going to win this fight. You know, they canceled that Marquez fight, Julian Marquez and Safarov. That was good for an under. I mean, under 1.5 there would have got there. You know, I want to like the Chinese fighter Murad on the undercard, and you know what? I tell you, I think that Ashley Yoder is looking pretty good for a 7-6 fighter. I think that Ashley Yoder is going to be in this fight. I mean, I don't think she's going to get finished, so I lean to the over. I don't know what the over is, but I'm taking a good long look at Yoder here too. But right now, and Eric Anders. Look, they bet this Eric Anders against Arroyo. You know, Arroyo was 2-0 on the Contender Series. He didn't get a contract the first time. He came back, they gave him a contract, and then he just got beat to Alex Muniz in his UFC debut. I like Eric Anders here to catch a win. You know, I mean, remember Anders was all the hype was around Anders. It was a Brazilian killer. He beat 2 Brazilians, and he went to Brazil and got beat by Machida, split decision, and then he dropped a few. His last fight against that Jocko, you know, you can't, you know, you might say, well, Eric Anders is shot, but you know, I don't think Jocko's I don't think he's a bad fighter. Jocko's always been a game fighter, and he's you know, a lot of these guys mature late, and Jocko's a guy that, you know, when he went into this fight, I bet Jocko in that fight, you know, hindsight, whatever. But I think that, Eric Anders was in tough there, and I think that this Arroyo's a little bit of a softball for him. I don't think Arroyo presents anything he hasn't seen before. So if Anders loses this fight, I don't want to say he should hang him up, but he probably want to he'd probably reconsider his career. Anders, former football player, University of Alabama.
National champion. Put some respect on that, Joey. National champion football player.
Yeah, no, he
D1.
was. I mean,
D1.
Good athlete, tough kid,
Yeah, I know you're right. I think it's a very winnable fight for him. I'm still trying to pick myself off the mat after the Houston Alexander reference.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it really did remind me of when I saw it. I mean, he just blitzed him and kind of caught him cold, caught him on his heels a little bit.
It's a fun card. Like Brandon Allen and Sean Strickland's going to be a must-watch fight. That's a really good fight.
Good fight.
Eric Anders will be an interesting fight. I like it too at minus 130. I can live with it. Al Hassan. I know you don't like the parlays, Joey, but to me, I guess it's a parlay here. I don't want to lay minus 245, but I do think he wins. I do think he wins the fight as well. Before we get you out of here, you got McKenna and Hansen. Hansen's minus 220, McKenna plus 184. Joey, we got 15 seconds on the way out only. So to get all of Joey's picks, go over to MMA Odds on Twitter. Better yet, check out the podcast. Follow the action. Download it wherever you tune in to your favorite podcast. Follow the action. Shout out to JBL if he's tuning in right now. May the winners be yours, Joey.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Take care, man.
Be good, Dan.